What is going on, guys? So, I'm going to be breaking down technically my three biggest expenses. It's kind of more like three and a half. I kind of just combined two. But and I'm also showing you how those expenses actually kind of almost pay for themselves all the way. So actually, the lifestyle I live isn't really expensive, or it's not really coming out of my pocket. Because this is just the way I choose how to do it. So basically, one of my biggest expenses is cars. I love cars. I have a car obsession. Most of my money goes towards cars. My second one is basically living, housing, kind of, and stuff like that. And then my third one, I kind of combine this. It's travel and food, because I mean, food is a monthly thing. Travel really isn't that kind of monthly thing for me. It really depends. I might travel like February. I traveled all of February. I went to Dallas. I went to Mexico and I was in Vegas. So I was in three places. March, I'm literally just gonna be in. I went to LA. Just got back from that. That was just a weekend trip, and I'm gonna go to Dallas at end of March. And in January, I was just in Dallas. So, and then came to Utah. So again, it's really not that big. It kind of depends. April, I'm not going anywhere. May, I'm going to Croatia. June, I'll be in Germany. July, I'm not going anywhere. And then August, I'm also not going anywhere. And then the next time I go somewhere will be in September. So at least that's how I have it right now, in my head, because sometimes it gets spontaneous. But basically, one of the first things is my Audi A5. So now this car is actually bringing me in money. But why is it doing that? One, it's because when I got the car, I just paid for it all out. Like it was just a cash. I got that cash. So I drove that, I would say, for about a year, a little bit longer than a year, 14 months. I drove that car 14 months. Then I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine. So my original expense on that car was actually 569. After the interest rate that he's paying me and all that, I make 695. So that, but I paid all of it off up front. So now it's just $695 going into my bank account every single month on the first of the month. So again, I have no complaints, and he's driving that until he wants to get rid of it. So the second expense is my BMW M8. Now you can see no income is coming in from this, and it cost me $998 a month. Now it is a lease. I only get 7,500 miles on it per year. Again, I have no complaints about that. I got a super great deal on it. That was just because BMW had an incentive to get rid of it. So they had two M8s come in and they had to sell it by the end of the month. And the end of the month just happened to be 5 days after they got their cars shipped in. So I got a great deal on it. Super excited about that. So now my new car, I am getting a new car in April. I'm technically getting two new ones, but one is more kind of, I don't really pay for that, so I'm not putting that in, and the other one I am paying for it, especially since the other one is the the two cars I'm getting. One is not a new car, not at all. It's a Okay then. It's a kind of cash car that I have. It's a project car. So again, I've had that and I'm just going to be using that kind of as my daily driver, but now it's going to be fully functional in a sense, just in case the M8 or the other car, because it's also not very a daily driver functionality. But I am still debating on it, but I do have about an idea of how much that car is going to cost me. That car is going to cost me $950 a month. So, but I am going to be basically having an income on it, because I do rent out my cars on Turo, which you guys can see here. So this $200 is just for the Audi A5. I'm going to put that in parentheses here, A5. So that has nothing to do with this car. Now this car, I should almost be able to get the $950 per month covered. But again, that's not really my goal, because basically the Audi A5 literally almost gets that car covered. But again, I also have the M8. So the way I do it is the A5, I get to cover the cost of the M8. And then the new car, I kind of want it to balance itself out. Hence why I also have the secondary project car, which I'm gonna announce this all within the next couple of weeks here. Anyways, I'm posting it on Instagram. So follow me at Niklaus A. Adler. And yeah, so I'm hoping it's gonna give me 950. I don't really think so because I just like downballing it, so I don't really have too high of hopes. But I am estimating that if it rents out once a month, I do believe that it will bring in about $500 to $600. So I'm just gonna put 600. So again, that car is gonna cost me 350. The A5 basically almost covers the M8. So basically per month, $500 out of my own pocket goes towards my cars, and insurance is all covered. So I don't have any problems with that. And yes, my insurance is very expensive. I would say for the M8 and then the new car that's coming, the insurance is maybe about $100 to $200 a month less than the cost of both of those cars. So my home in Texas. So why did I put an income on that? So I'm closing down on a home. I'm closing. It takes 30 days. It's annoying. I was hoping to move in before Easter, which is April 3rd, I believe, or April 4th. But my home in Texas, so that is going to come out with utilities and everything like that. That is going to be costing me $3,000 a month. Now I'm moving in with a buddy of mine, and he is basically we're going to be splitting it. It is a 5 bedroom house, so it's just two of us. A friend of mine from South Carolina might move down with us, so that way rent can either be split by three, or what I might do is everyone just pays like 1,200, and then I pay like 600 since I am doing the entire down payment, or I might just live in there for free basically. So again, as of now, I am paying $1,500 per month out of my own pocket, but hopefully I am planning on getting that down to zero by the time May comes around, because I know my buddy in South Carolina, his lease ends in May, so hopefully he wants to come down to Texas anyways. He wants more in the Dallas area. My house is kind of 25 minutes away from there, so we will see what happens. But again, hopefully I'm trying to get that down to zero, but right now it's 1,500. So the next one is rent in Utah. Now income, because I do live with roommates, I get $950 a month, and my rent is $550 because it's a big house. I signed the lease back in August of 2020. That was still when I was going to college. I dropped out that semester, so the lease doesn't end until July. And yeah, so I just pay that. And right now it's $550 is my expenses with utilities, but I get $950 a month after all of that, because again, everything was put on my name because I have the credit score and all of that. So again, credit really helps, and especially when I leave here down for Texas, I'm leasing my room kind of, so which means I will be making that 550 back, which then means in 2 weeks I'm gonna be making 950. So that expense is paid for then. So I then get 950 into my pocket a month. So then the next one is travel. Like I said, it really just depends. I just put 1,500 down to be conservative, and then kind of put food in there. I don't get any money from food. There's like no way, but I spent about $1,000 because I just like going out to eat. Because I used to do all my grocery shopping, and then I just cooked at home like 3-4 times a day because I eat 4 to 5 meals every single day, and it really I just didn't like cooking anymore. So what I did is I kind of only now cook when I want to cook, when I'm actually in the mood. And yeah, so my grocery bill went up from around $300 a month to 1,000, but I have cooking again, and it's much more fun, and I just like it a lot more. And again, tour brings me about 200 for the A5, so and no expenses here. And then that about covers it. And I mean, I guess another big one of mine that I have every single month is my retirement investments. So I put around $3,500 a month into my investments every single month. But again, those investments, so that's just my retirement. But if I were to put my work in and all of that, I would obviously be looking at a profit. But these are just my costs that I have. So obviously cars are a big one for me. So technically, if we add all of this up, the if I just take out the invest or just yeah, so my monthly expenses after take this out is basically I'm down $2,553. So per month I must make an extra $2,553 that is not passive to basically keep living this lifestyle, and basically that comes out to $30,000 per year to be able to drive an M8, as well as to have one house, a nice 5 bedroom house in Texas, and a secondary kind of home in Utah, as well as be able to travel and go out to eat all the time. So, not too bad. And then if we take into account that basically the home in Texas is going to be paid for, so of that 2553, I can take 1,500 off. So now I'm at 1,053, and then I can add myself another $400. So now I'm at $653. So technically every month, starting in April of this year or in May of this year, I will only be spending $653. So again, I have zero complaints, but also that is the reason why traveling, why is it 1,500 income and 1,500 expense? That is because my travels usually I cover them. Now how do I do that? My flights are usually free. I really don't pay for flights. If I do stay in a hotel, I use my Hilton points. I usually stay in the DoubleTree. So again, that is also covered. Sometimes I do Airbnb. That's pretty cheap. Sometimes I go with people, sometimes I don't. That kind of cancels that out then. And then the food of that is just put into my food budget. So again, the only thing, if anything, if I stay at an Airbnb, I kind of use money. But besides that, I don't really pay for travel. I know that in May I'm going to Croatia for Yacht Week. My flight, instead of paying 1,200, I paid zero. The Airbnb, I'm just gonna stay a night there and night else. I might just book a hotel, so that would be covered. Excuse me, covered. So then the only expense I would have is the yacht, which includes food for that week. So then it cost me a total of $1,659 to be on a yacht for a week. So again, no complaints. So this is kind of how I do it. Now obviously I can add my investments of $3,500 per month in here. So now I'm at 6,053. But then if I put my income, I can literally just do my cash covered calls or anything like that. I can then basically be looking at, because my income varies from literally 10 to 30,000 every single month. So we just take the middle. I'm looking at cash flow positive of almost $14,000 every single month. But the point of this video is not for that purpose. So I just want to get rid of these two. The point of this video is for the purpose of how much it really costs to live the life you see on Instagram, to live the life you see on that, if you do it wisely, if you do it smart. Because if you have a 3-bedroom house, guess what? You get 2 roommates, they can cover your cost of living. Cool. Or you get a bigger house like the one here in Utah, 6 bedrooms, and then you can actually make profit off of that. The other thing is you buy a car. If you have the good credit score, you can then basically just sell it for a profit that just they pay you monthly. So as long as you're okay with putting cash down and then receiving monthly, that'll cover that. You can then rent that out, and that then even gives you more of an income. And yes, this was in the contract agreement between him driving it and me being able to list it. We do share the profits. That's why it's only 200, because he gets the other 200. So that is how that works. And the way people live lives is just interesting. And obviously there are much smaller expenses, like phone bills. Then there are like extra utilities, health insurance, gas, all of that stuff that obviously gets into that. But I am giving you a hint. This car is most likely going to be a hybrid. So gas is going to be cheaper for me then. But again, yes. So technically, if you do this and you just do this times 12, you can basically pull that up here, calculator. So we got 2,553 times 12. So per year, you can get away with $30,636 to be able to have all of this. Excuse me. So, again, everything is possible. You just got to find ways to make it happen, because trust me, small things add up to big things add up to bigger things, and yeah, I'm getting this car to basically pay for this car, which is over double the value. This car is over double the value of this car. I'm getting almost a house for free. I'm making profit on a vacation home technically. Travel is almost for free. And the big thing is food. If I can somehow get my food to cover my own food, that would be hilarious, but I don't think that's possible. So I don't mind spending 1,000 a month. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and beneficial. And other than that, thank you guys and peace out.